So, but it was interesting because one time I decided when I was like affirmative, like I couldn't get rid of that restlessness. I said, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And so I called my parents who were out on like a party at a friend's house or something. And I said, hey, Mom, Dad, you got to come home right now. There's just something I need to tell you. And then my dad's like, can you wait for a little bit? Because, we just kind of got to the party, just kind of got started. Is it urgent? I said, yes, it's very urgent.
Wow.
And then, my dad, sensing there was something serious happening, he said, okay, I will come home right now. And then it wasn't until afterwards, after I entered the con for a couple of years, that my mom told me the story that the conversation between my parents was really hilarious now that I think about it. They said when they were coming home, my dad was very worried, but my mom was like hysterical. Like she was like, no, she was just like off her seat because she was like, oh my gosh, something happened to Catherine. She must have went in that conference and she must have met a guy and she's just going to let us know that she's pregnant. She's pregnant. And then she was so worried the whole time coming home. And as soon as they came home, I was like, Mom, Dad, I need you to sit down. I was very serious about it. I had this whole speech prepared. I knew what I wanted to tell them, like this whole journey. But the only words I got out after they sat down were, Mom and Dad, I wanted to thank you for, taking care of me for the past 19 years. And I started crying and I couldn't stop. And the only words I could get out was, I'm entering the convent. And then my dad was crying with happiness. And he went over to our altar in our house and he was like kneeling down, just thanking Mother Mary. Because he's the one who always wanted a religious sister in the family. But my mom was on the couch. She didn't move an inch and she was just crying because she was devastated.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So she would have rather had it you being pregnant than saying that you were going to enter the
Possibly. I guess that was the worst news she could have received. Because I was kind of the goody two shoes of the family, so I did things for the family. And so when I left, she was very upset, and she even told me all the way up until I went on to the airplane to come to Houston. And she said, "Do you know you're being very, very irresponsible? You're being very selfish. You're just caring about yourself, and you're leaving your family behind. Who's going to take care of your little sister?" And so she kept on going. So even when I went to Houston, she wasn't a very happy mom.
So when you went that original time for the come and see, what was your mom's attitude like? Was she just she's not gonna like it, or we'll see what happens?
She didn't want me to go at all. She told the priest to tell me not to go. She's like, don't go, don't let her go. Why would you tell her to go to the convent? And she was ranting to them. But they were chill. They were yeah, no, she's becoming Dominican. But my mom,
she must have been relieved when you came back and said that you didn't want it.
That's correct.
At first, but then you blindsided her.
Yes.
Your dad was happy, your mom wasn't.
Yes.
What happened between them? Did they argue about it for a bit?
I guess it's because it's kind of a patriarchal kind of family, the typical Asian family. And so my dad kind of has the big say. So he was happy. So she kind of went along with it, but she just kind of grumbled the whole way through. But yeah.
So you go to Houston, you start, you enter the convent for that first year. And your mom's not happy. Did that have an effect on you?
A little bit when I first left, because I don't like to leave things kind of hanging. And so that was something that was still on my heart. But I guess it didn't last too long. God does have his own ways. And so he really kind of changed her heart after I came back after 6 months of entering the convent. And then they let us go home for a home visit during December. And so I came home and then my mom was kind of okay. She saw how I changed for the better. And she started to accept that this was a path that I have chosen. And so she gradually was okay. Even to the point of saying, hey, it would be great if your younger sister went too. And I was wow, what happened there? So God really does work. So she was very supportive of my little sister to go now too. So she's at peace now.